Hey guys, welcome to Tropical TCG. Today we have another deck profile here for you. It's a Narukami deck profile. Alright, here we go.
Alright, what's up guys? So, I did a deck profile a year ago, but this is a more updated version of that, and it is a pre-version of the set 12 support, because that stuff is broken. But I'm show you what I have now and what we're going to fill in later. So we're starting with what we started with last time. It's Wild Run Dragoon. He has been a pretty useful starter throughout these months. His skill is put him into the soul. Your opponent chooses a card from his drop zone and he binds it. Then you give a unit Thunderstrike 2. During your turn, they get 5k power. So he's been really good. He helps me hit numbers, and at the time, he was the only card that could really hit your opponent's drop zone for nothing. Yeah. So next, we run 4 of the Fighter Collection heals because we do have the G Guardian in this deck. He's pretty good. So if you use him to G-Guard the Sky Guardian, Supreme Dragon, Impede Dragon, if your counterblast is, you have 1 face up or less, you can countercharge 1. So he's good. He helps countercharge the deck, so you can get your dank ass plays.
That was a way to word that.
Right. Okay. VMAX is a thing.
Oh my god.
Alright, so we run 4 of the Vanquisher critical. So he's pretty standard. Put him into the soul when your Vanguard with Vanquisher in its name attacks. Draw a card and plus 5k. Okay. Now, we run a little differently than other Narukami decks that I've seen because we run 8 stands. So the first one we run is Jin of Rainy Duststorm. He's pretty good. What he does is that when he's placed on rear, he gets plus 3k, and you can choose one of your rear guards and Thunderstrike 1 when the unit attack hits. Your opponent chooses one of his rear guards, retires and binds it. So it's good. I rarely ever get his the Thunderstrike off because people keep guarding it, but I'm hoping we'll get a better stand when set 12 comes out that they can go back into the deck. Hey, one can dream. And then our other stand is one of my favorite cards in the game, is Dragon Dancer Vienne. So what she does is that when a unit on your opponent's side is retired, you can put her into the deck, shuffle, draw a card, and countercharge 1. So not only does she help countercharge, but you also draw a card, and this can happen on your opponent's turn. So if you Impede Dragon or you Bulwark, you can shoot her back, countercharge and draw 1, so you have another card to guard with, or what have you. Good plays. Alright, so going to the grade 1s and dank memes. That was for you, Jagger. Okay.
He's not dead, don't worry.
Not yet.
Oh god.
So
No, that was really dark. I didn't mean that to be so dark.
Not
That was super dark.
So we run 2 Training Monk Dragons. I like him. He combos well with martial arts, and when the new support, he's going to be great when Hard Rod comes out. But anyway, his skill is Thunderstrike 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, he gets 2k. And then GB1, you can put this unit into your soul. Then you choose a unit with Vanquisher in its card name, and until the end of the turn, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and your Vanguard hits that and the Vanguard and that unit. So it's good. He's good with VMAX. If you only have 4 Vanquishers in your G zone, but you need to hit all 5 of them because you can't counterblast or whatever, because you gotta get his skill off. You can use him, throw him into the soul, and then hit all 5 of his rear guards. It's nice. Alright. Next we run 2 Stride Fodder, 1 SP cause can. Pretty standard. Vanquisher Searcher. Be nice when the new one comes out. Okay. Then we run 4 Chainbolt Dragoons. I love this card for as much as it's been out, but lately I've been seeing that we don't really need his skill much when the new set's out, because we will bind a lot more without needing to retire. So when I'll see what grade 1 comes out, if there's nothing better, we'll keep him in, but we'll see. But what he does is that when your opponent's rearguard is retired and you have a Vanquisher Vanguard, you can your opponent chooses one of his or her rearguard, chooses from the drop zone, binds it, and then you give one of your units 2k. So if you have the old Vanquisher that we have now, it combos well if you bulwark or impede, because his skill still procs, and then you can give your Vanquisher 2k on top of the Vanquisher's original 3k. So 16k, hey, or Angel Feathers, okay. Alright, and lastly we run 4 Wyvern Defender Gould. We run him because he has Thunderstrike, and his skill is pretty good. So, Sentinel skill, when this unit is placed on guard circle, discard a card, and then, yeah, your Vanguard can't be hit. But his second skill is that Soul Blast 1, when this unit boosts a unit with Thunderstrike in it, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your other rear guards, retire it, bounce this back to your hand, and then choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So it helps. It helps if you want to boost with it, you can call it back afterwards. I normally like retire the Jin of Rainy Duststorm because he's only a one-off and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see what the next PG does, and we might replace him. So moving on to grade 2s, we run 2 Martial Arts Dragon, because Martial Arts Dragon is great. So what he does is that when he's placed on Vanguard, so as your grade 2 ride, you can Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, and you choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, retire and bind it. So he's good for early game binding. We used to run him at 4 of, but we found that 2 is fine. So next we run 3 Cloudmaster Dragons. I like Cloudmaster Dragon because his skill is pretty good. It's GB1, Thunderstrike 2. When this unit is placed on rear guard, he gets 2k for every card in your opponent's bind zone. However, we are going to replace him with the new grade 2 that comes out. It's Plasmatron Dragon, because he has a similar skill, but you can counterblast 1 to use it, so it's not a one-off. And his GB1 skill is when a unit is placed on rearguard, your opponent binds a unit in his drop zone. So it really helps with the bind mechanic a lot more. So yeah, it's good for now. Now, for a long time I didn't want to run this card, but I've been talking with a couple of my associates.
Forced is more like
we broke him.
Yeah.
So I didn't like running him before, but I am running Demonic Dragon Berserker Chatura. So the reason why I didn't want to run him, because I think he's a negative effect, because he can only hit Vanguard. He's an 8k, and he has to hit, and he's a counterblast. But they've convinced me that with the countercharging that this deck can do now, and the and just the pressure that this meta is going into, he's not bad. So we're running him now. And lastly, for the grade 2s, we run Voltage Horn Dragon. So, Voltage Horn has always been a good card. When he's boosted, Counterblast 1. Your opponent chooses a unit on his field, retires, and binds it. Nice. Okay. So moving on to grade 3s. We run 2 of the Roaring Thunder Spear Jalil. He's the Thunderstrike Searcher. We will trade him out for the new Vanquisher, but he's good for now. Okay. So his skill doesn't really matter much, but Thunderstrike 1, GB1. During your turn, this unit gets 4k, and your opponent can't intercept. And then Thunderstrike Searcher, Counterblast, Soul Blast, check top 5 for Thunderstrike unit. Add it to your hand. Alright, next we run 3 Groundbreaking General Bisham. I like Bisham because he is hit pressure, even though he's a 10k. He combos well with the Thunderstrike support, because if he hits Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, check the top cards for each card in your opponent's bind zone, and then you can call 2 Thunderstrike units to the field. So if you're on Voltage and it hits, you can call 2 more units, and they also get power. We also run the 8 stands, so pressure is great, and that's another reason why I added Chatra into the deck. Is pressure. And lastly, we run 4 Draconic Vanquisher and up with the SP on top because cute. So what it does is GB2, when a unit in your opponent's rear guards is retired, this unit gets plus 3k and a crit. So it's really good for defensive or offensive, but the skill really comes in handy for when you're defending because we have units, G guards that can retire now. So it's nice. Then his stride skill is Counterblast 1. You choose one of your opponent's units in the front row, retire and bind it. Now it's great. Just when people don't leave or put units into their front row, it's kind of hard to get off. So I like the new one because when you counterblast, they bind straight from the drop zone, and if you stride a card with Thunderstrike, then they choose a unit on the field and retire it, and it doesn't have to be in the front row. But for now, this is great. We'll probably make him a 3-of when the new one comes out, but I like him. And he's getting reprinted with the new art, so I might want to pick up one of those and have one of those a regular and an SP. Or not?
Yeah. Let's see how to hold that. Next deck profile only has 4 cards in it.
So then we're gonna go into G guards.
Oh, I thought you were done. My bad.
No, so we run 1 Lightning King, Spirit Emperor Vitra. He's the Thunderstrike 1, get 5k, so it's pretty easy to get off. We run 1 Dismal, because we want to protect our cards sometimes. 1 Impede Dragon, because it's great. What he does is that when he's placed on the G Guardian is placed on the guard circle, you flip another G Guardian, and then your opponent chooses one of his units, retire, and binds it. And then if he has 2 or more units than you do, they choose another one and retire it. So he's great to get off. He's relatively an easy 6+ to the original Vanquisher. He's nice. I use him a lot. Also really cool to get when I'm fighting people that has deck combos with their rear guards, and then nope, no, you don't have it anymore. Sometimes. Okay, then we have 2 Sky Guardian, Supreme Dragon, Bulwark Dragon, and 1 SP, cause can. I like him. What he does is that Thunderstrike 3, get plus 10k shield, and then Thunderstrike, and then for every 4 cards in your opponent's bind zone, you can retire 1 rested unit on his field. So he's good for the retire mechanic. Yeah, I like him. Okay. So next we'll go into the go into these. So go. We run 4 Conquering Supreme Dragon, Conquest Dragon. Now he's been a staple in deck for since set 2 came out. A long time ago. His skill is when this unit is on the field active, you can flip himself. Your opponent retires one of his units on the front row. Then for every open rearguard in your opponent's front row, your front row gets plus 5k. So normally it's a 10k with the comboing with the other Vanquisher. But with V-Buster coming out, his skill is pretty much lackluster, so we might be switching him out. We'll see though. Next, we have 4 Conquering Supreme Dragon Draconic Vanquisher Voltage. He's good. Act ability, once per turn, flip himself. When this unit attack hits, your opponent chooses one of his units retire, then you choose 2 cards and bind them. And then his GB3 skills, what you really use him for, is that during your turn, all units in your front row gets plus 3k for each card in your opponent's bind zone. So it's great to hit big numbers, hit a lot of times if you use Bisham, stand triggers, it's great. So now we go into the one-ofs. We run 1 SGR, it's important. Conquering Supreme Dragon Draconic Vanquisher VMAX. His skill, GB3 Thunderstrike 5. At the end of the turn that this unit attacked, you can pay the cost and then deal your opponent an immediate damage. So even if he gets perfect guarded or if you guards completely, you can still deal a damage.
Broken.
Broken. And then his other skill is when this unit attacks, for every Vanquisher G unit you have face up, you can pick a rearguard circle, and then this unit attacks the unit on that circle. So he's great.
To be fair, to keep in mind though, you do need to have the opponent needs to have no rearguards.
Yeah, true. You have to have no rearguards to get his Thunderstrike off, but it's not a problem. Okay.
He says.
We run the Voltic Zapper Dragon, but I haven't been using him much, but he's in the deck. I have nothing really better to put in. Maybe another VMAX. I know Shannon wants me to put in Zoros, but I don't want to do that again.
So thank you, boy.
So yeah, so we run him. His skill's pretty good. Thunderstrike 3, when this unit attacks a Vanguard at the end of the battle, counterblast 1 for every 2 units in your opponent's bind zone, retire and bind 1 card on his field. So it's good for board clear. And lastly, we run the GB8, because GB8 for this clan is amazing. When he's placed, retire all rear guards on every fighter, and then bind all your opponent's drop zone. And then for every unit in your opponent's bind zone, your field gets plus 2k. So we hit numbers, boys. We go up to 100,000 power sometimes. It's great.
You're Neo-Nectar for 1 turn.
Right? We go everywhere nuking those drops. Alright, so that's about it.
That's a cat.
Well, alright, well, thank you very much for the deck profile. That's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video.
Awesome.